So master English conditionals, 0, first, second, third, and mixed conditionals. And I'm going to give you plenty of examples. Have you ever wished that you can predict the future? Seriously though, if you want to express hypothetical situations in English, you're in the right place. Let's deep dive into conditional forms. So what are conditionals? Conditionals express hypothetical situations and their consequences, and we use them a lot in English. There are 4 types of conditionals in English. So there's 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional, okay? And we would use them in different contexts. So what's the 0 conditional? That's the one we're starting with today. So let's look at the structure first. So it's if plus present simple, comma, and then present simple. That's how it's formulated. So an example of that is if you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. When do we use the 0 conditional? The 0 conditional we use with facts that are always true. So a practical example would be, if it rains, the ground gets wet. So that's a fact about the weather. If it rains, the ground gets wet. Another example is if you mix red and blue, you get purple. It's a fact about colour mixing. These things are true. Okay, so can you now write down a few sentences that you know which are facts? You can use the 0 conditional quite easily. So if you can say something like, if you put ice in the sun, it melts. So that's some kind of fact you could do. If you put ice in the sun, it melts. Can you think of any facts that you can think of with using if? Okay, so we talk about with an if clause. It always has an if clause and then a comma. So there's 2 clauses. And can you do that in the comments? Can you send me some facts that you know? If something happens, something happens. Remember, it's if plus present simple, comma, and then a present simple clause. Okay? Okay, let's look at the first conditional. The first conditional is, the structure is if plus the present simple, comma, and then it's will plus the base verb. The base verb is just the verb without to. An example could be, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay at home. My job is dependent on the weather. Or I want to go for a walk, but if it rains, I won't go. Or anything which is dependent on the weather. The first conditional we use a lot, and it's used about real or possible situations in the future. So if I study hard, I will pass the exam. It's a real possibility because I could study hard, and studying hard would mean that then I pass the exam. So it's a real possibility. It's something real that could happen in the future. If we leave now, we will catch the bus. So this is a real future possibility. So for you, can you think of any examples about something that you plan to do in the future? Can you give me a first conditional sentence? For example, if I work on my project tonight, I will finish it tomorrow, or finish it by tomorrow. Or if I do my homework tonight, I will go out tomorrow. Okay, so please give your examples in the comments and I'll check them for you. Okay, let's look at the second conditional. The structure is if plus the past simple, comma, would plus base verb. Base verb again is the verb without to. So eat, sleep, drink, whatever. Give you an example. If I had $1 million, I would travel the world. So if I had is the past simple, $1 million, comma, I would plus base verb, travel the world. The second conditional is a little less reality in one sense. So it talks about hypothetical or unreal possibilities in the future. If I were you, I would talk to the teacher. We use when we give advice. So if I were you, I would talk to the teacher. And I'm not you, so it's impossible. We use it when we give advice. So if I lived in Paris, I would visit the Eiffel Tower every weekend. It's a hypothetical situation because I don't live in Paris. Okay, that's the meaning. It's just something that is impossible, but we can hypothesize about it. Just note, we say if I were you, not if I was you. For subjects in hypothetical situations, we say if I were you. If you use I was, it would be very informal, more something. People do say it, but it's more informal. So it's not actually correct in this structure. So my question to you using the second conditional is, if you could visit any country, where would you go? And can you give me answers in the comments? Okay, third conditional, where the structure gets a bit more complicated. Third conditional is if plus the past perfect, comma, would have plus the past participle. So I'll give you an example. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. So it's about a situation that's too late to do anything about. So we use the third conditional to talk about imaginary situations in the past if things would have been different, or if things could have been different. So it's an impossible conditional in one sense, because it's too late. The past has already gone. We can't do anything about it. But we use it a lot when we're talking about things that happened in the past. So if something had happened, I would have done something else. But it didn't, so I didn't. So let's give you some practical examples. If I had known about the party, I would have gone. I didn't know about the party, so I didn't go. And it's imagining a past situation. Another example for the third conditional could be, if you had told me, I would have helped you. So it shows regret or a missed opportunity. So if you had told me, I would have helped you. You didn't tell me, so I couldn't help you. So it's impossible to do anything about it now, but we use it to express regret. So can you think about something that didn't happen in the past, and what you would have done if it did happen? So, for example, if you had finished your homework earlier, what would you have done next? Please share any third conditional sentences in the comments. That would be great. See what ideas you come up with about things that didn't happen in the past and what you would have done about them. So those are the four conditionals. So 0, first, second, and third. And then in some contexts, we mix conditionals. Mixed conditionals are usually because there's a time difference. So for example, the condition and the result are in different times. So one is in the past and one is in the present. We often combine the second and the third conditional. For example, so if I studied harder, third conditional, I would be in a better job, second conditional. Another example could be, if I had taken that job, third conditional, I would be living in New York now, second conditional. The past action affecting the present result. If I were you, second conditional, I would have asked for help yesterday, third conditional. So the present hypothetical is affecting the past regret. A challenge to you, can you create a mixed conditional sentence? It's a little bit tricky, but think of some of the examples I've given you. Another example could be, if I had trained harder, I would be a professional athlete now. So can you think of any things like that which you could use using a mixed conditional? Please put them in the comments. So let's give you a quick recap on the conditionals today. So a quick summary on conditionals. The 0 conditional is about facts. The first conditional is about real future possibility. Second conditional is about unreal present or future situations. The third conditional is about imaginary past situations. Can you, as a challenge, make a sentence using all the conditionals and try adding in a mixed conditional? If that helped you understand the conditionals a little better today, please subscribe to my channel. Please comment your examples of conditionals and I will read them all, and I'm very interested to see what you come up with. And your final challenge for the end of this video is, can you create a conditional for me? So my example, and I'm going to leave a gap so you can change it. If the gap and the verb I want you to use is know about the meeting, comma, I go, the verb is go. So what would you say? Please answer in the comments and let me know. Thank you for staying with me in this deep dive into conditionals, and I will see you in the next lesson.